Prime time on a Tuesday night. Hope everybody's feeling right, living well. We are going to spend some time on some draft prospects, one draft prospect in particular that appears to be falling potentially right into the Titans' lap. Well, there's a catch with Caleb Farley, the cornerback out of Virginia Tech, and we'll tell you what's going on with that. A recent report that was shocking to me came out 3 days ago and really has been under discussed. So we'll cover that over the course of today's show. Caleb Farley could end up with the Titans, but it will come under certain circumstances. I'll tell you what those are here in just a bit. We have risk and reward. Christian Barmore. Speaking of draft week reports, now we've spent a lot of time talking about how much you should believe, how much you should actually take to heart when you see all of this information changing on a regular basis. Well, just like what's happening with Caleb Farley, there are some similar reports with Christian Barmore, the defensive lineman out of Alabama, something that could potentially take him out of reach for the Titans. It's a Tuesday, the halfway point of our primetime week, so we will have a gone viral video prepared for you. Like Christopher Slaughter, I see Charles Hardaway, Lewis Chesney, Jeff Sawyer, RG on YouTube, Hal Laws, DP, Jonathan Donahue, perhaps, maybe like Jack. Anyway, all of you here on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. So while you're here, go ahead and share the show. You can retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That's how you get the people going here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. You can get in the action if you so choose. You could retweet the show just like I have done right here. If you view with us on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you're Evan, like Evan Easy Faust, Evan the Goat Faust is in the building. All right, Evan, then be the greatest of all time. Be the greatest sharer of all time. Go ahead and share now to public, bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and then we'll consider making you GOAT status around here. I haven't decided quite yet, but I appreciate the confidence. And if you're on YouTube and Twitch, go ahead and share the show as well. We're all over the place here on the A to Z Sports Primetime Network. And now that more of you are here, we can go ahead and begin the show officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports Primetime on a Tuesday from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I am proud, as always, to be presented to you by the fine folks at Two Rivers Ford. Car Care Month, only 3 days left to go save 10% off their award-winning service department when you go take your vehicle out to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or go check it out online at tworiversford.com. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. They will get you going with all of the opportunities to make some money, like in tonight's Preds-Panthers game. I bet the under, and I still have a chance at that at this point, but we will see whether I cash in on my bet in the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Gary Ashton, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators, of the Tennessee Titans, and of A to Z Sports Prime Time. They will hook you up and get you going with your dream address without the stress, or if you are in the market to sell for more, you can do so with the Ashton team. Finally, Brymac Mechanical, satisfaction guaranteed on each and every one of your HVAC needs. They will set you up. They will put you in a position to succeed. They will put you, as a matter of fact, in your comfort zone at Brymac.com. All right, so now that more of you are here, we can spend some more time on what's going on with Caleb Farley, because I do think that this has the potential to work in the Titans' favor if you, as a Titans fan, do in fact want Caleb Farley as a part of your roster. But there are some risks that come with him. Now, we've talked about the opt-outs. We've talked about the procedure that he had. But there is something that has come out in a recent report with Caleb Farley that adds a layer to this thing. The medicals are very uncertain. In fact, so uncertain that you see people like Ian Rappaport, who is on social media, on Twitter, or rather on national television, talking about the idea that Caleb Farley is a complete and total unknown. That is a situation where we did not expect. He may be the most physically talented corner in this draft, but he is now in a position where his talent is being questioned. Maybe not his talent being questioned, maybe not his ability being questioned. I shouldn't say that, but his health remains, makes him one of the greatest unknowns, so much so that it is being talked about where he could fall out of the first round. That is a massive problem for Caleb Farley, for his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, but it could work in favor of the Tennessee Titans. But again, there's a wrinkle to this that I think you guys need to be made aware of, because I don't think that has come to everybody's attention quite yet. I want to know from you guys, though, before we get going, before you hear from Rap Sheet and what teams are talking about with Caleb Farley, I want your Two Rivers Ford take. Can the Titans, fair or foul, let's phrase it this way, fair or foul, the Titans can afford a gamble in the first round this year? Let me know on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch, if you would be kind enough. Your Two Rivers Ford take in the comment section. Let me know, fair or foul, the Titans can afford to take a bit of a gamble in the first round. We'll discuss at length together, and you will hear from Ian Rappaport about what's going on with Caleb Farley. That might make him a little bit more of a risk. Right after I tell you about my friends at Two Rivers Ford, because of course, you know that you want to work with a business, a name that you know, a brand that you trust. Since 1983, you know that you can trust Two Rivers Ford. They are the best in the business for a reason. They will get you right from a new vehicle perspective. Their award-winning American-made Ford vehicles are ones that are reliable, sturdy, and effective for whatever your needs are. They span across the board, whether it's the electric Mach-E Mustang, whether it is the new F-150, whether it is my personal favorite, the 2021 Ford Bronco. The four-door models are absolutely exceptional, and I can't wait to get my hands on one. I can get my hands on one when I go out to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or I can customize my own online at tworiversford.com. Your guys' Two Rivers Ford take here on a Tuesday night. Let me know in the comments section, fair or foul, the Titans can afford to take a gamble in the first round this year. I'll explain to you. Well, here's what I'll say, okay? I want you to listen to Ian Rappaport, what he was saying today on the NFL Network, and then tell me if you feel fair or foul about the idea that Caleb Farley might be a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, there are, and you nailed it right there. He's had 2 different back surgeries. Last one, Dr. Robert Watkins, a microdiscectomy, 16-week recovery, which means he should be ready right around the start of training camp. It's going to be close. He did receive a really good prognosis. However, as you mentioned, it's a back injury. It's a second back injury, certainly giving some teams pause. Had he been completely healthy, I would have expected him to be the top cornerback in this draft. As of right now, he is likely going to fall, possibly to late first round. There are some people who believe that he's going out of the first round. I do not. And Agent Drew Rosenhaus told me yesterday he believes firmly that Caleb Farley will be gone by pick 20. Obviously, we will be watching this very closely.
So 2 back surgeries, right? I had no idea. And really, that didn't come to light until I saw Jeff Legwold's report. Now, this was 3 days ago. Nobody said anything about it. And this makes me sad for Jeff Legwold because he does such an exceptional job. He's been doing a great job since he was here covering the Titans. But since he's been in Denver covering the Broncos and doing this top 100 draft prospect piece that he does each and every year, I feel like there are so many things out there flying around during the draft time that unless you go seek out Jeff's piece, I didn't find it on his Twitter feed this year. It is a problem when you're trying to get information out there, like what Rap Sheet just said. But 3 days after the fact, listen to this from Jeff Legwold on ESPN.com. Now, he has Caleb Farley ranked as the 26th best prospect in this NFL draft. 26th overall, not 26th at the position, of course. Farley, this is the write-up. Farley, who opted out in 2020, has had back issues plural, in the last year, with a second surgery, meaning he has had 2 procedures on March 23rd. His health will dictate his ranking on draft boards around the league. A former wide receiver for the Hokies, he has played defensive back for 2 seasons and led the ACC in passes defensed with 16 in 2019. That's courtesy of Jeff Legwold on ESPN. So not one, but 2 back procedures. He is an incredibly talented prospect. And the good news is, based on what you've seen of him at Virginia Tech, when last we saw him, he's performing at a high level. He's performing well enough to be a first-round draft pick. But he's still really just learning the position of corner. He's a former quarterback. He played wide receiver at Virginia Tech. And just recently, in the last 2 years, he switched over to cornerback and is still basically feeling his way out in the position. Now, the abilities that he possesses, the athleticism, it's freakish. But ultimately, now you're looking at a player who has had not one, a discectomy, as was reported earlier in the year, but 2 back surgeries, 2 issues, at least back issues, plural, according to Jeff Legwold. This very much complicates the idea of Caleb Farley at 22. We'll read more of your comments here in just a second. I'll tell you how I feel about it, fair or foul, whether the Titans can take a gamble on a guy in this particular situation, given all of the things that we know about the first round, right after I tell you about my friends at Brymac Mechanical. Satisfaction guaranteed on each and every one of your HVAC needs. That's what the fine folks at Brymac promise you when you give them the courtesy of your business. Brymac Mechanical can do HVAC commercially. If you own a business, they can do HVAC residentially with Tennessee Heating and Cooling. Brymac Mechanical is the place that you go. BRYMAK. That's Brymac.com. Out there in Clarksville, one of their 3 locations, or in Kentucky as well, servicing a wide variety of areas at Brymac.com. So, what am I expecting? Why am I expecting to hear a cat howl, says Hal Laws? Well, it's because poor Frankie is currently going through, that time of the month, and I don't have my cat scheduled to be spayed for at least another two weeks at this point. But it turns out we're going to be able to sneak him in to a spay and neuter clinic specializing in this next Tuesday. So only one more week of this godforsaken yowling that I have to deal with before we can get the little girl fixed up. He just went to the Panthers on ESPN reporters draft a few minutes ago. Oh, so what Tehran is doing tonight is he's doing the ESPN mock draft special, which is, 32 NFL Nation reporters. They're picking for each of their teams. Tehran, I'm sure, will be on later because I think that started at 7:30 Central Time. So if they are just now getting to the Panthers, it means that they're still very, very early on in their mock draft process. Wesley Bates says, I disagree. Health issues. We need someone to come in and contribute right away. Saw some article that stated he had nerve problems. If that's the case, I'd stay away. I haven't seen anything about nerve problems. RG, make sure you're discerning about what you're reading and who you're reading, because nerve issues is not something that I've seen. It doesn't mean it's not out there. It doesn't mean that it's not credible, but I have not seen that to this point, and it's my job to make sure that I'm keeping tabs on this thing. So if you could be more specific rather than saying some article, would be appreciated, because you know what, we don't want to put out misinformation, right? And nerve problems are a big deal. It's what basically ended Marcus Mariota's career here. We need a pass rusher. Stop, says Danny. Well, maybe you'll get one, but probably not in the first, Danny. Don't get all bent out of shape. But who knows? They could go pass rusher in the first. Farley isn't worth the risk, says Ronnie Sneed, with that back injury. Again, injuries, plural, Ronnie. Injuries, plural. Foul, says Charles Hardaway. Marquis Hale says fair. Chris Frazier just flat out says no, he's not interested. Fair, according to Antoine Bullitt on Facebook Live. Will Dodson foul? Hell no, says Dustin Benson. Keelan says hell no on YouTube. He or she, I'm not sure if Keelan is a male or a female, but whomever it is, they are a hard pass on the idea of Caleb Farley at number 22. Spoken like a true passive Titans fan, just like our crappy GM, says Gino. Gino, what are you talking about? Gino, you have improved each and every year that John Robinson has been here as your crappy GM. Gino, your team was godforsaken. You were basically as godforsaken as the New York Jets, who still people should not trust to make a competent pick. Nobody cared about the Tennessee Titans before John Robinson fixed it. And it's still a hard selling point to people outside of Tennessee. But at least in Tennessee, you know that you have a good football team. Gino, what are you talking about? Crappy GM. What, haven't you just had 5 consecutive winning seasons? Haven't you just had back-to-back playoff appearances, a 2019 title or AFC title game appearance, and a division winner? Hasn't all that just happened? That was unthinkable when I got here 5 years ago. Gino, you're talking out of your ass. It's okay, though. I appreciate your participation in the comment section on Facebook Live. Finally, I can catch a live show, says Dom Diddy. Well, welcome in, Dom. We appreciate your participation. Y'all forgot about the panda already, says Charles Hardaway. He is foul. Well, that's a different kind of risk, right? Isaiah is a character risk. Isaiah was a character risk. Caleb Farley is a long-term injury risk. Back problems are for real, without question. Xavier says Gino must not have been around when it was embarrassing to be a Titans fan. Gino says they still don't care about the Titans. We are an insignificant franchise. We lost in the first round. Well, if this is, and I'm not a Titans fan, Gino. I'm a Titans reporter. I'm here to tell you as objectively as humanly possible what is going on with your favorite team and give you my informed opinion on that. So if you are going in here, Gino, as a Titans fan and saying, well, division winners don't matter, playoff appearances don't matter, success overall when drafting doesn't matter, a back-to-back NFL rushing champion doesn't matter, and a quarterback who threw and ran for 40 touchdowns, 33 passing, 7 rushing last year doesn't matter. You can consider yourself insignificant if you would like, Gino. I'm out here trying to give you a pep talk. I don't know why you are dismissing all of the things that you've accomplished. Perhaps you are just categorically unhappy in life and cannot be satisfied, and that anything but a Super Bowl is a complete and utter failure to you. Maybe that's an okay way to think. If Super Bowl or bust is your mindset, it's probably the mindset of most fans. It's the mindset of your crappy GM, as you called him earlier. It's also the mindset of your coach. Mike Vrabel said he would cut his dick off for a Super Bowl. Do you know what more can you want? I mean, it's just simply out of tired of this franchise being insignificant. Okay, Gino, I'll just give you all the reasons that you are significant, but what can I do? Dwight Thomas says foul, would not draft him due to his surgeries, and I don't think Robinson can afford another first-round miss. Farley is our number one, says Horizon on YouTube. Good Morning Football never talks about the Titans. No one ever does. Okay, Gino, I don't give a shit about what they're saying on national television. If you don't want the people that cover the team locally, do you understand how many people nationally just don't watch your team? Like, Derrick Henry, by the way, is all over Good Morning Football. The Angry Runs are all over Good Morning Football. The Titans are all over Good Morning Football. Again, if you choose to ignore these things, then I can't help you. Now that's let's see. They talk all the time, says Chris Frazier. Dean Buckwalter says Gino is a Colts fan, dick. That's not very nice, Gino. Play nice. Why is his caps button stuck, says Ethan Ramsey. It's a better question. Lay off the caps, buddy. You don't have to. What is it? You just yelling into the internet, yelling into the ether? I mean, it is what it is. Let's move on, because I do think it's fair. Now, here's what I'll say. I think it's fair if you let the draft board come to you. But here's what I'll say, because John Robinson spoke to the idea that you could potentially, you could do a variety of different things, right? John Robinson said on Monday when he spoke to us in his pre-draft press conference Zoom as Titans media that you're not going to trade back just for the sake of trading back. But if Caleb Farley makes it to 22 and you think he's going to keep falling and you want to trade back and you can find a way to get Caleb Farley in the second round, it's possible that he could fall out. This is the gamble that you may be willing to take, or at least maybe your general manager will be.
Anytime you're going to move up, you've kind of got your eyes on maybe one player or two players, and according to how many picks you are away from that player, or you might get some information that, hey, this team, they might jump you, or they're looking to come up too. And you're trying to put yourself in a position to get the guy you want. I think that, we're kind of talking through that this morning, and we'll continue to talk through it this week, or who are those guys that if we get within striking distance, and then what's the cost of that? Because you're going to have to give something up to move up versus are there 4, 5, 6 players, 3 players? How many players do you have, left on the draft board up there where you would consider it 22? How far can you go back and still get one of those guys and maybe pick up another pick?
Yep, Robbie, I hope this is a natural follow on this one, but you speaking of this year at 22, it seems like that's a spot where a lot of teams will move back. Do you think it's any more likely that you might move back this year than other years?
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll certainly talk about. If that presents itself and it allows us to, look at the board and there's still players that we think we can get 3, 4, 5, 6 picks back and pick up an extra pick, we'd certainly entertain that. But you don't want to trade back just to trade back. There's got to be kind of a what's the return on that move, and can you still get a player that you want and maybe pick up a pick in doing so.
So that is John Robinson, the Titans general manager, talking about what it might be to trade back. Now, I'm not saying that Farley would fall all the way out of the first round, because as Puka points out on Periscope, there's still medical evaluation issues, right? When John talked to us on Monday, he basically said that when they had the medical reevaluation, about 150 prospects in Indianapolis, that essentially they had to pool the medical information because not all of the team's doctors and training staffs could get their hands on all of the players. Now, one would think that if a team prioritized a player highly enough, then they would take the time to get the medical evaluation done on said player. But it doesn't sound like it went as cleanly as all that. So if you're pooling the medical information, there may be some things that one medical staff missed as opposed to another. There may be some things that, you're leaving out if it's a pool of information for competitive advantage. I that would be wildly irresponsible, by the way, to give a less than fully honest, a less than fully transparent medical evaluation for the sake of seeing a prospect fall to where your team might be picking. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. The NFL draft, the NFL business is a dirty game, and that is exactly what the NFL draft is. So Buck asked Chris Frazier to post his mock draft since he is Mr. Know-It-All. Please and thank you, says Troy. Well, I have now Chris Frazier is arguing with you. Lucas Burke says F Chris Frazier. Well, you guys can argue amongst yourselves if you so choose. Let's move on. Let's talk about risk and reward. Let's talk about what's going on with Christian Barmore, because as there were concerning reports with Caleb Farley, also some concerns about what's happening with the defensive tackle that could end up at 22, depending on if he's allowed to slide that far. I'll tell you let me ask you the question first and foremost here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. How concerned are you with the reports on Titans prospect Christian Barmore? And if you haven't heard what these reports are, I will tell you momentarily, courtesy of Bob McGuinn at The Athletic. Let me know in the comment section on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. How concerned are you with the reports on Titans prospect Christian Barmore? While you guys do that, I will tell you about the people who are trying to make you money on this draft weekend. DraftKings Sportsbook, promo code A2Z Sports. That's how you get in on all of the action, because for some, the draft is the most exciting day of the season. For others, it is a chance to build on last year's success. Whether your team has the first pick, the last, or the 22nd pick overall, like the Tennessee Titans do, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing the excitement to you. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is adding to the thrill of the draft with a chance to turn $1 into $100 in free bets if a quarterback is drafted first overall on Thursday night. Just that simple. There are a number of ways to take action on the draft. So head to the app now and see what DraftKings Sportsbook is offering for Thursday's Thursday night's main event. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code A to Z Sports when you sign up for a chance to turn $1 into $100 in free bets. $1 into $100 in free bets if a quarterback is selected first overall this Thursday night. Don't forget, when you're signing up, enter the code A2Z Sports, just like you see behind me, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Tennessee only. Winnings paid out in free bets. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. DraftKings Sportsbook promo code A2Z Sports. Let me know in the comment section. Comment section is on when tonight, says Louis Medina. I'm saying, y'all are nuts. We must be getting close to the draft. The super moon must be back after it was out last night. You guys are out of control. I'm cracking up here in the comment section. Just play nice, guys. Here on A2Z Sports Primetime, Chris Frazier says he's a bust. Puka wants to know, are me and Dawn going to fight on Thursday? Why would we fight? There's no reason for me to fight Dawn Davenport. In fact, I would lose that fight, so I would not fight Dawn Davenport. And also, I would never put hands on a woman. And also, Dawn Davenport would objectively kick my ass. I'm scared of Dawn, frankly. And she knows this. She could smell fear. But no, there's no reason for me and Dawn to fight on Thursday. But, by the way, I'm going to be doing the radio show. If you guys want to come out, listen, we've been talking about this for a while. I'm now vaccinated, so I am comfortable getting out and about. If any of you are not doing anything on Thursday, let me make this quick reminder, because before I forget, because Thursday is going to come up on us fast. If you're around Demumbrian in Midtown, Tin Roof on Demumbrian on Thursday, I'm going to be doing my radio show live from Tin Roof on Demumbrian from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. Will Compton's going to be hanging out with me. Austin and Zach are going to come to Tin Roof. We're going to hang out. Everybody's going to be there. You should be there. Come hang out at Tin Roof on Demumbrian. We'll have some lunch. We'll talk some draft. And we'll have a bunch of great guests that'll show up there with me. So if you're not doing anything, stop by. That's Thursday at 10 a.m. At Tin Roof on Demumbrian in Midtown in Nashville. We better stay away from Barmore after these reports. We can't swing and miss on another guy that doesn't take to coaching. Yes, so Titans Kyle has transitioned for me about what's happening with Christian Barmore. So every year for 100 years, it feels like, Bob McGinn, who now writes for The Athletic, he puts out a 9-part draft series, position by position, talks to scouts, executives, people across the league, and goes position by position in this manner to get a really good grasp on who is out there in the draft and where he might rank them based on the feedback that he gets. Of Christian Barmore, what he said was fascinating. Here's a quote from a scout. Probably the weakest group of interior defensive linemen in several decades, said an NFL decision maker with 20-plus years of carrying a stopwatch. With one techniques, I don't even know who people would be talking about. There aren't any. Another summed it up this way, according to Bob. Quote, it's a light board. Alabama's Christian Barmore, a third-year sophomore, is expected to be the first big man taken, but that status is regarded as more by default. This is where Bob is getting the feedback from NFL talent evaluators around the league. Now, here's the scary part if you're talking about Christian Barmore. Let me read you what Bob has written. Barmore isn't Quinnen or Marcel Darius, third pick in the 2011 draft. Said one scout, better physical gifts than Jonathan Allen, but not close to as good of a technician or as an overall player. He's more gifted than Dalvin Tomlinson. Barmore resides in that Jaron Reed, Ashawn Robinson, Raekwon Davis group that's a notch below those big three from the Bama tree. Here's where it gets problematic. Several teams expressed concerns about what they say is his being Christian Barmore's resistance to coaching and structure at Alabama. Resistance to coaching and structure at Alabama is a damning phrase, absolutely damning. And so what Titans Kyle is saying there, I've just articulated what Bob wrote. He has a resistance, reportedly, according to, again, anonymous coaches, anonymous NFL people, right? We don't know who these people are. They don't put their names to their comments, which is easy for them to lob shots at a bunch of college kids coming in trying to make tens of millions of dollars in the NFL draft. It's a shitty way to go about it, But that's what the facts are. Ethan Ramsey says, what are the reports, good sir? I believe I've just given them to you. Then again, the doggone report could be bonuses AF, says Ronnie Sneed. You almost got me to say it, but not this time. So what Dom says is we can't believe all the reports, though. 1,000% so. Now, what Chris Frazier is saying in the comments on Facebook Live are wildly irresponsible. Chris, you don't know that it's true. You can't just definitively say, because what Chris is saying, it's true. Chris, you have zero idea if it's true or not. You don't need to be piling on to this guy when you have no working knowledge of who Christian Barmore is, what Christian Barmore is about, what his behavior was like at Alabama. You simply don't know. So to say it's true is in fact false because you have no idea. You're speaking from a place of ignorance, and that's okay. Sometimes that's what this show gets into. But no need to say that it's true when you have zero idea whether it's true or not. Reynald Cherry says Panda 2.0. Hell no, we don't need it, says Reynald. And I understand why people feel that way. This is what we talked about in the first round, in the first segment of tonight's show. Can you afford to take a gamble in the first round? So many needs for the Titans, not just needs at starting level positions, but your depth is so awful right now on this roster. Think about Amani Hooker, right? Mike Herndon of Broadway Sports made this point on the radio show today. Think about Amani Hooker's situation, right? Where you have Kenny Vaccaro. Kenny Vaccaro is a top flight safety when you find him basically on the scrap heap. You pay Kenny Vaccaro to stick around. You draft Amani Hooker in the 4th round years before you let Kenny Vaccaro go. So that when Kenny gets older and gets expensive, you have Amani Hooker, who played well last year, to simply slide into that role. Makes all the sense in the world. Find me the Amani Hooker on this roster right now. There is not one. There is no depth player that you feel like in a couple years, maybe David Long, but I don't think so. There is no player right now where you look at him as a depth piece on the roster and say that guy could start for the Titans in a couple years. Doesn't exist. Your depth needs to be replenished. It's not there right now. Chris says there's plenty of reports out. No, it's literally just Bob's report. So I don't know where you're getting all that from, Chris. Let's see. No, Big Jeff had a video that painted a bad picture. Nobody said that he was against being coached. There's a big difference. There is a big difference between, as a high schooler, beating a woman and being resistant to coaching. There was nothing on the field from Jeff Simmons while he was at Mississippi State to say that he was anything less than a fantastic football player. Here on A to Z Sports Primetime, Chris wants me to go look in his group. What, Chris, buddy? When do I have time to go peruse through your group? If you have something that you want to send to me, you can send it to me. I'm all over the place, but I can't. I'd be lying to you, Chris. I post a lot of content in there because I know you guys. It's easier for me to get it to you in the Facebook groups, but I'm not actually scrolling through the Facebook groups, Chris. I don't have the time, but I appreciate that. David Long is garbage, says Marquise. I don't think he's garbage. I just don't think he's a starter. Preds 4-3 going into the 3rd. I know we are talking draft. Sorry, my people. No, don't apologize. It's good to keep up with what's going on. It's good to know what's going on with the hockey team. Come on, man. Why protect Robinson? Gino, what the fuck are you? Gino actually got me to say it. I think that's the first time I've dropped an F-bomb. Did you see how? Oh my God, that's so funny. I don't think I've ever dropped an F-bomb on the show before. I know Zach's done it a couple times, but it's okay. It's the internet. Nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to get zapped like I would on radio. Got him, says King Mofaki. You did. It took Gino, I don't know. Gino, I don't know that you are. Gino, what you are saying is largely unintelligent, and that's okay. You're allowed to, but it took a largely unintelligent trolling in the comment section tonight to get me to drop an F-bomb. It's the first time in a long time, but that's pretty funny. Good on you, Gino. You haven't, Buck, but who cares? Let it rip. Not too many F-bombs, right? You don't want to totally turn people off. I think largely if you're dropping a bunch of, if you're cussing a bunch, I think it just speaks to a lack of intelligence, honestly, from a professional talker. From a professional, as I stutter all over my words, from a professional talker's perspective, I think if you cuss a bunch while you're talking, it just makes you sound dumb. But anyway, Let's see, Buck. I love you, but come on. That's exactly right, Luke. I played myself here tonight on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Let's move on. Let's do the gone viral video because it is also Titans related at this point. And we will all have a laugh together. Buck, of the Titans seriously looking into Julio? Would it be possible? I mean, everybody's looking at, listen to me, Dwight. Okay. This is not uncommon knowledge. You don't have to be an NFL reporter to know that the Titans are looking into Julio because everybody's looking into Julio. As soon as Julio Jones' name hit the market, all 31 of the other franchises did some digging on Julio. So it's completely possible. In fact, I don't know about seriously because right now they can't afford it. So there would still have to, by the way, Julio or not, they're still going to have to do some manipulation of the finances. And I don't know where that's going to come, whether it's going to be extensions with cap relief, whether it's going to be restructures that push cap hits down the line. I ultimately just think it's not that I think, I know every damn team called about Julio Jones because as soon as Julio hit the market, they got it going. Gino says, interesting. Why avoid me? Be a man. Give me one reason why he would trade down instead of trade up. Gino, because you have, okay. So here's where we'll divulge. I'm not avoiding you. It's not me, a lack of being a man. It's the fact that I've got a bunch of people in here commenting. Now you can only see the Facebook comments. I can see all 4 of the social platforms, Gino. It appears that this may be your first time in the show, and I so appreciate you being willing to spend your evening here with us. It does mean a lot to me. It's the reason that I pay my mortgage simply by talking into a microphone. But to think that I'm just simply avoiding your comments, what, because I'm scared to get in an argument with some dude on Facebook? No, of course not. I know more than you. It's the reason that I have my job. It's the reason that I sit in front of the microphone. And if you would like a reason for the Titans to trade down, it's because you have starting needs at tight end, at wide receiver, at corner. Probably, if you're talking about a third safety role, you could probably use some starting help there. Maybe Kendall Lamb is a competent right tackle, maybe not. And you have a giant miss at right tackle that you still need to address. Gino, you have holes on your starting 11 on offense. You have holes on your starting 11 on defense. You basically don't have special teams units right now. You don't have any players for depth unless you want I can't even remember the names of the 2 pass rushers that ended up starting games for the Titans last year. But I know that if you're going out there with Tuzar Skipper and Wyatt Ray, you're going to end up with another defense that gets 19 sacks last year. You need depth. You need starters. You know how you get more picks? You trade back, Gino. This is not some kind of intellectually stimulating argument. It's just damn common sense. And if you look at it realistically, understanding all the manipulations that go into the NFL draft, especially in a year where every NFL franchise took a $15.7 million haircut on their salary cap, then you would know that for the first time since 2017, when John Robinson has not selected a draft class larger than 6 players because they haven't needed to. But the pandemic has affected the finances for the first time where you need to regenerate the roster organically through the draft, and you need more hits than you need misses. Gino, it makes all the sense in the world. Do you not watch your team? Do you not pay attention to anything about your team? Do you not read anything about your team? Or are you just in here stirring up shit and then saying, oh, be a man, avoid me? Get out of here with that caveman bullshit, all right? I'm not intentionally avoiding you. I'm reading comments as they come by. I'm also talking. I'm also reading. I'm also providing you information, throwing the clips, and tweeting out links as we go. Gino, get your head out of your ass. It's okay. There, I haven't avoided you. Oh, goodness. All right, gone viral video here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. I love the hell out of you guys, even you, Gino. We have a good time here in the show. All right, gone viral video. I want to know here in the comments on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. Let's have some fun. We've had some fun at Gino's expense. Now let's have some fun together. Gino, I include you in this, of course. Gone viral. Rate on a scale of 1 to 10. Rate Isaiah Wilson's EP that dropped on Monday, the 6-song EP that Isaiah Wilson, your former first-round pick, has put out on Spotify and Apple Music. Let me know, scale of 1 to 10, rate Isaiah Wilson's EP. If you haven't heard it, that's okay. I'm cracking up. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how you rate Isaiah Wilson's musical abilities here on A to Z Sports Primetime. While you guys do that, I'll tell you about the fine folks at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage at GaryAshton.com. That's where you go for your dream address without the stress. That's where you go for to sell your home for more. So many buyers coming in from Middle Tennessee. So many opportunities in an incredibly crazy. I mean, the real estate market right now is wild. I honestly thought about selling my first home that I purchased through the Ashton Group early so that I could take advantage of how wild the real estate market is right now and then buy a bigger house. And I can do that because I've got the man that you trust to do those kind of deals, to make sure that you're properly investing your money in proper, sound real estate investments. That's Gary Ashton at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage at GaryAshton.com. All right, gone viral video. Rate on a scale of 1 to 10. Isaiah Wilson's mixtape. -79 says Daniel. Drian says ridiculous housing market. I mean, it's wild. Xavier says big trash. -29. Says Kedrick Bell. I'm done with Wilson. Not interested. Oh, Paul. Paul Castro says, I'm done with Wilson. Not interested. I mean, can't you just have, for 1 second, a little bit of fun, Paul? It's okay. You can be done with Isaiah Wilson and also make fun of his musical ability or lack thereof. Gino, I just sent you a friend request. Let me know if you need to talk, praying for you. Oh, God. Bizarro PK. Unbelievable. Anyway, let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how you consumed Isaiah Wilson's mixtape. And if you haven't had a chance to hear it, let's play you a sample. This is courtesy of Isaiah Wilson's new EP, and you're going to see probably about half of my face because the format didn't quite fit this. But let's listen to Isaiah Wilson's first or one of his tracks on his new EP, Layup Lines, available now.
Started creeping on into music. Baby, I just wanna show you clueless. How I show you how to make a movement. Tryna give you all my heart and lose it. But I really want you to just screw it.
Unbelievably bad. Unbelievably bad. Isaiah Wilson. I can't remember. What was the name of the song that we just played? I need to pull it up again on the screen. Buck's new workout music, says Dwight Thomas. I mean, so bad.
Started creeping on into music.
He sounds out of breath. He sounds out of breath whilst rapping with auto-tune in the background, like he's panting a little bit. Perhaps the panda was tired, and perhaps the panda was tired of dropping fire beats. Oh, listen, the beats behind him, not bad. The rapping, horrific. I would give it a 3 out of 10 just because the beats alone. I thought we're okay. Probably paid a lot of money for those. Shout out to Titans for funding that. So bad. Here on A to Z Sports Primetime, Danny Ornelia. Forgive me, Danny. I'm going to botch your last name. But Danny says, sounds like diarrhea. Artemis says, this is the Jeffrey Simmons situation, and I think we have to make a great decision on this. Artemis, you are like an hour late at this point, but that's okay. I appreciate your participation. Trade that for a professional NFL player. 0, says Paul Castro. Actually trying to put effort into the rap game, says Dwight Thomas. It is possible. If it's so bad, Lewis Chesney says, can you do better? No, I certainly cannot. Kevin Jeffries wants me to play it again. Okay. I can't do better. But I am sticking to the thing that makes me lots of money. I'm talking as a sports talk commentator and reporter for a living. I'm not going into the rap game where my talents are not best suited. Isaiah Wilson has gone into the rap game when his talents are best suited for him to be a football player.
Started creeping on into music. Baby, I just wanna show you clueless. How I show you how to make a movement. Tryna give you all my heart and lose it. But I really want you to just screw it.
Oh, God, I can't. DP says hands all ashy and shit on the cover. That is an offense. Even I know Even they don't even advertise with the show anymore, so I'm not going to give anybody free plugs. But even I know you got to put some lotion. You gotta take care of your skin, especially if you're going to be showing off. Not everybody's looking at all the jewelry that you spend all of the Titans' money on. Going to be looking at your ashy ass knuckles. It's not a good look, especially on the cover of your new EP. Can't wait to see the music video, where he crushes a car dancing, says Dwight. That beat, though, says John. I'm saying the beat is okay. Kevin Schiffery says that shit is trash. I do not disagree. But I listen, for all of the fun that we're having at his expense. I hope that he does well, because and I know most people in here don't. I hope that he does well, because I don't know what's going on with that dude, and I don't know where that dude's going to end up in life. But I am not going to wish. I'm not going to wish ill of him. I hope that he has all the success in the world in the rap game, given the success that he did not have as a professional football player. Anyway, that's the show. We've had a lot of fun. You guys even got me to blow up on one person. Thank you, Gino, for the content that you provided for the group. Thank you for sharing with the class. Thank you guys, as always, all of you. You guys were active in the comment section tonight. You guys were lit in the comment section tonight. It was a lot of fun to keep up with, and we had some good draft conversation in between. In the meantime, go check out today's 615 Sessions podcast in the A to Z Sports podcast feed. To Ron Davenport of ESPN, myself, we broke down the wide receivers, and TD is exceptional when it comes to draft analysis. 615 Sessions podcast available now, also tomorrow on the radio show, 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. Mike Keith, voice of the Titans, Tony Pauline of Pro Football Network. He is their best draft analyst. He will be on, and we will have a great time. And if you are in Nashville, if you are in Midtown, if you are close to downtown Nashville, and you want to come hang out with me, Austin and Zach, Will Compton, and so many more of my friends, you can do that at Tin Roof on Demumbrian on Thursday at 10 a.m. because we'll be talking draft from Tin Roof all day long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I will enjoy mine as well. As always, support the people who support the show. Make it free for you. DraftKings Sportsbook, Two Rivers Ford, Gary Ashton Remax, and Brymac Mechanical. Of course, they're not tired of providing you exceptional service no matter the industry. And I will tell you what, I got a lot more work to do. So it's a good thing that I'm not tired yet.